sew a buttonhole, we need to have a buttonhole footer. It looks like this. Once you're ready to sew the buttonhole, I'll pass you one. Okay, there's this lever here. What you're gonna do is to push this up and then place your final button. If let's say you don't have your final button, you need to at least have the width, the final width of the button. You're gonna place this inside and then tighten. Make sure it's snug, okay? Okay, see, once it's tightened, it shouldn't come out. Okay, then the next thing we need to do is to mark out these lines. So how do I mark this out, right? This is the center of the placket. This is your center front line. So remember when we drafted out your placket, from the center front, we actually measure outwards by 1.5, right? Yeah. So that means in order to create this center line from the edge of the fabric, we need to mark inwards 1.5 so that we can have this center front line. Okay, as for the horizontal lines, that is the distance of your buttons, the base of the button. So normally what I like to do is to place one button, place all the buttons along the placket and see whether I like the distance before I start marking out the bottom of my placket. So in general, I prefer to have my buttons like that. So the first one, I like to place it quite close to the top. If let's say you have a collar, right, I normally like to place it like 3 cm from the top. 3 cm, will be my first horizontal line. Then subsequently about 7 cm each. Okay, but you can do it a bit closer if you like, or I don't recommend further just because if the distance is too far from each other, here will keep popping out lah. Okay. So now, why do we need to draw these lines, right? It's because your buttonhole footer, can you see there's this horizontal lines here and there's this vertical line. Later on, when you place your fabric inside, you want to align the horizontal line to horizontal, vertical to vertical. Do you all see it? This. Horizontal to horizontal, vertical to vertical. Okay, then now let's change the footer. First thing is we're going to press the black button behind. It will release this footer and then we'll place this below. Can you see there's this bar here? We're going to place the bar below this mechanism. If let's say you see, cannot put it through, right? I'm going to use this lever here, push it upwards to create a bit more space before I place my footer down. Okay, so this is part 1. Part 2 is behind. There's actually this black lever. I'm going to show you off on the side view, okay? So like this, push this all the way down. This black lever is what's going to act as a stopper. If you don't have this, right, the machine will not sew the buttonhole footer. Will not sew the buttonhole lah.
This is only for Juki, is it?
Brother also has.
Okay.
Yeah.
Singer have or not?
Should have also.
have.
Yeah. All have. So long as there's this buttonhole footer, you will have a stopper also. Okay, so now let's look at these buttonholes. We have 1, 2, 3. The ones with a circle at the bottom is for buttons that have like a base at the bottom, kind of like a mushroom shape. For your flat buttons, I will use number 6. But what you can do, right, is to experiment with these 3 buttonholes and see which one is suitable for your button of choice. Okay, so I'm going to just choose, there's a bit of a base, right? Let's do 7. So I'm going to change this number to 7. Okay, once you change to 7, you can you see this thing here? This is actually your stopper. Your machine is telling you that you need to use this stopper as well. Okay, then all I'm going to do is place this below. Remember the horizontal markings, right? So what we need to do is to align horizontal to horizontal, vertical to vertical. If you cannot really see, what you can do is to press this down. Then you can see the horizontal and vertical lines really. Then we'll place the footer down. And for this step, I'm going to just change the speed to the fastest. And as I am sewing the buttonhole, right, I'm still making sure that my center line is still on the center guideline. Because if you don't, right, and you just let it be, right, sometimes your machine, right, especially if your material is slippery, your buttonhole will be slanted. Yeah, that's very tedious to unpick the whole thing. So you just want to make sure that it's straight. Okay, so the vertical guideline should always be on the vertical guideline. Then we're just going to step. The machine will sew the whole thing for you. And once it's done, it will stop. Then once you lift out your footer, that means the machine will reset. So you can, if you notice that it didn't sew nicely, right, and you want to stop, right, you can just remove the footer, you'll stop. It won't complete the set. Okay, once you're done, right, what we're gonna do is to open this up. You need your pin cushion as well as your seam ripper. Okay, we're gonna place the pin right at the top. Place your seam ripper, punch it through the fabric and push this up. The pin is going to act as a stopper. If you don't have the pin there, right, this is actually strong enough to cut through your fabric. Then I'll turn it around, same thing, place my pin down, And then from the hole, push this up. Then you're done. So I recommend that we sew using the sample fabric first and place the button through to see whether you like the gap or not before we do your main fabric. Okay, that's all.
So if you